Quorum. We got roll call notice of meetings that was posted and noted. I think, well, just to start, I'd like to wish everybody a happy St. Patty's Day to anyone out there that's Irish and maybe wish they were Irish. So happy St. Patrick's Day. We're going to kind of skip around a little bit here. I'm going to hold off on the president's comments until later. We have guests here today to discuss a couple of matters with us, so I'd like to open it up to them. First, we have an NDS presentation. So I see that we've got Eric here and maybe somebody else from NDS. I'm not sure.
And Joyce, really quick, this is Andrew Millay, the public
Oh,
adjuster.
yep.
Keep in mind that any recordings are discoverable to the insurance company and could always be used to hurt the flood claims. So I don't know your procedures or requirements, but the recording may not be in the best interest of the association and could hurt your flood claims.
We are required by statute to record our board meetings by state statute.
Okay. I won't be able to talk on the call today then. And then as far as everything else, I'll listen here. But I won't be able to discuss anything on the call today because it will hurt your claims.
We're asking Raphael if we have to, since he's here, we're going to ask him.
That would be a good idea. It would be great if Andrew could speak because that's the whole point of having him on the call today.
Sure, yep. And the whole meeting basically would get shared with the insurance company, and any similar meetings would get shared with them where you want to be able to talk openly in that. And one thing said that's incorrect could hurt anyone.
He said we have to record it.
Okay. Do you need me on the call to listen today, or I guess we could have a discussion at a separate time regarding the flood claims?
Well, we're always going to be in the same situation then if that's the rule. Whenever we have an open meeting, it's open to everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And it sounds like it needs to be recorded if it is a board meeting.
Yeah, I don't want to hurt your claims, so I'll just listen. I'm not going to speak today on the.
Well, we'll have to form a committee then to ask questions to Andrew.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm going to hand it over to NDS. Eric, good morning. Thank you for attending. I know you've got someplace to be shortly, so I wanted to get you up first, but this is an opportunity for everybody to, ask questions. We have several contractors that have been in the community and giving their estimates. For those of us that are local, we've had an opportunity to speak to most of the local contractors, but a lot of people have not had an opportunity to speak to you. So we do have your estimates, and I just wanted to know if you could kind of give your perspective on NDS and their involvement with the community.
Well, good morning, Joyce, and to the rest of the community here. Appreciate the opportunity to
I'm
speak
trying.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry.
No, someone's not muted. That's
Someone's
okay.
not muted.
Gotcha. My name is Eric Pillai. I'm the CEO of NDS Recovery. There's a couple other, when we're another contractor, right, who is hopefully going to be on site to help you rebuild your villas and or work on the exterior doors and windows, which is another part of the claim that we are that we've bid and provided you a bid for. So I guess for Joyce and the rest of you, we were invited here to explain the differences between what we might provide versus the contractors that you have on site, which I've been told are satisfied. You're satisfied with them, and et cetera. But as a restoration contractor that works on these claims, the group of us, I've been doing it for 30 years, and others on the call, Jim Kruger, our COO, and a couple other very experienced teammates that are on the call to listen in and maybe offer their perspective. Again, we appreciate your time, and here to explain again, the differences between a contractor like us and maybe contractors that you've had. And uh, maybe the simplest way I can explain it is I've got a son who's 19. Bear with me for a second. I bought him a car a couple of years ago that was, I think I spent $1,600 on it. It was a Honda that had 150,000 miles on it. And for myself, I might buy a brand new Cadillac, right? The difference in price, the difference in features, the difference in reliability, the difference in um, maybe future expense and frustration. I bet you all could understand. And with contracting and with these insurance claims, it's in again just trying to kind of give you a way to explain it is not necessarily different. For example, a couple of years ago, you've received, I believe, an insurance estimate that, in our experience, when they first provide those to you, it's very low, like the Honda, the old Honda, if you will. They're trying to pay you less for what maybe you should deserve. And we are your advocate, and along with the public adjusters on the call. Again, this is my opinion, and I understand the whole legality of maybe recording this, and simply my opinion, but it's based on a lot of experience. You received an amount that is lower than you should, and we're your advocate to go obtain in concert with them the Cadillac, right? For let's call it your windows and all your exterior windows and doors. So whether it is a level of communication, service, the actual material, the way it's installed, the flashing on windows, the door hinges, the everything you can imagine that goes into the installation and the material for those products. We're going to provide you with that Cadillac level of service because we are able to go to the insurance company and get that pricing for the Cadillac. So down the road with warranty issues and just the longevity of your product, and again how it's installed and how it is all put together, you're going to get received a Cadillac versus the Honda. So I hope that gives a little bit of perspective into what our role is in this, and open to answering your questions, but that is really the baseline of what we do in working with the public adjuster and the insurance companies and FEMA in order to raise the value of that claim to what you truly deserve, and therefore provide you with all of again, the level of communication and product and service and material and installation that goes with that. So in our experience, when you receive less money for those things, the car, for example, or the contractor, you're going to receive lesser quality of all those things that are included in our product and service. So I hope that helps
Yeah,
in
I
some
have a
way.
Eric, if I may. My name's
Yeah.
on the board. Um, if we go and say you purchase and we agree on going with this Cadillac level, uh, is it going to be covered by the insurance? And if not, then it would be then covered by the villa owner then, correct?
Correct. But suffice to say that we are going to first, again, in concert with Altieri, get the monies that will provide you with that Cadillac. So if we provide the windows and doors for the whole community that haven't been replaced already, we're not going to charge you more for the windows and doors that the pricing that we obtain from the insurance settlement. Does that make sense?
And one clarification, this is Andrew Moy, the public adjuster from Altieri. The flood insurance is only able to pay for a like kind and quality repair
I
to what
really
you
wish you could have
had.
stayed a little straight.
Um,
I just don't feel I'm being able to.
could someone mute them? Yeah, so the flood insurance is only going to pay for what you had at the time of the flood. They're not going to pay to upgrade your materials or your items. So uh, it gets very complicated in these situations, but there, if you had the Cadillac, they're going to pay for the Cadillac. If you had a Ford, they're going to pay you for a Ford. There definitely are areas where the insurance company's short, but they're not going to be able to pay you extra. But I think what Eric was getting at is that their level of service and quality, they're better service than others.
Yeah, I'm a little bit confused. So if the price that you give us is a price that we're going to provide you, which is what the insurance company is going to give you, or is it we're going to see what happens and then make a decision at that time?
Um, yeah, so I guess my part of my point is that yes, of course, Andrew is correct. The insurance company is going to pay you for what you had, like kind of quality. But in our experience, that offer and those monies that you've received so far is usually a lot lower than what we will in concert with Altieri obtain.
Yeah,
Does that make
the
sense?
insurance is lower than what it costs to even put back what you had, essentially, to put back the same quality. So the insurance company's numbers are low. The market prices to put back the quality items that you already had is more than what the insurance has already allowed generally. And so that's where would work with Eric or work with whatever the contractor you choose to make sure the insurance is paying the right amount for what's being put in or for replacing what you had. Yep.
I think people are wondering like why, because your estimates were essentially higher than the others. So what is that difference there that you see? Or how can you explain what that difference might be or what that would include?
Yeah, so for instance, Joyce, what I mentioned to you, one of the big differences often is upper cabinets in the units, right? So we provided an estimate to install the upper cabinets, and that's a several $1,000 number, right? Whereas the estimates I believe that you've received, and this is just based on experience, probably don't include that. So if an individual owner wants those upper cabinets, we've daylighted that for you in the estimate and said, here's what it's going to cost. The other estimates, I'm assuming, again, based on the insurance, what insurance would normally provide, do not have that in the estimate. So um, there's a difference there of several $1,000s just to install those cabinets. We're not saying you have to do it. Any individual owner who wants those, here's the price because we've delineated that, right? If you don't want those, you certainly don't have to install them, and we can eliminate that from the estimate. But my assumption is the estimates that you've received do not include those upper cabinets because the insurance company typically would not pay for that. If it's my villa, I'm not going to just replace the lower cabinets and leave the uppers there. I'm going to replace the uppers as well. That's going to come out of my pocket as a villa owner, right? Because the insurance company won't pay for that. But we wanted to include that in the estimates that you see it and can see what that cost is going to be. So our estimate is higher in part because of those upper cabinets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Again, you don't need to install those as a villa owner. I'm going to do both, and out of my pocket, I'm going to pay for that because I don't want mismatched cabinets. Some new ones on the bottom and old ones up top. That wouldn't make sense to me unless I very recently replaced my lower cabinets or upper cabinets, right? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
Bob, go ahead.
yeah. I think you just clarified it, Eric. The upper cabinets in general are not included in any flood claim because they were not touched by water. Water was high, but not that high. I kept my upper cabinets and had what do you call it, Amuro install lower cabinets. I'm perfectly happy. So if you included upper cabinets in your estimates, that's that's optional.
Correct.
And I should point out, saying that I drive a Honda.
Hey, I appreciate that, and I drive a very well used car as well. So, just trying to create analogy that maybe everybody would
No,
understand.
it was a good one.
There are a lot of items in our estimates that are totally optional that are not commonly included in the flood claim, and that the upper cabinets, thank you, are the maybe the most glaring item.
Yeah, Eric, the issue with that was that the contract is going to be between the corporation and your company. So if it contains things that are not in the insurance loss report, we don't have the money available to do that. So we really can't sign a contract. I'm stepping out of turn here, and I'm not an attorney, but it just seems that we're not going to sign a contract for extras. That is not the responsibility of the corporation. So
Yeah, so
the other contractors, we asked, or I asked, to have them follow the loss report, and then if they want to have another contract with the homeowner and your company or whoever it is, that would be fine. But we didn't want to get involved in that because we don't have the funds to actually cover that, and that's not our area to cover.
yeah, so in my discussions with Joyce, and again, thank you for allowing us to join you here. My previous discussions with Joyce were exactly to that point that we'll have to individually for each individual villa, if we were to work on one villa or 10 villas or more, we have to pare down each of those estimates and separate out the items that Herman Jensen wants, for instance, that another owner may not. Upper cabinets being those items, but if we don't have the benefit of having that original insurance estimate yet. So we haven't created that estimate that is just related to insurance items. But does that make sense? We'll have to pare that down. We just again wanted to daylight all those items that someone may want, so that we're not all of a sudden saying down the road, hey, here's a $90,000 estimate. But for you, Herman, because you want upper cabinets and everything else, it's going to be 120,000. Like to get that out up front. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know,
I think, excuse me, Chip. I I think that would have been a better way to do it, frankly, Eric. You are including, to use your car analogy, you are including upgrades that are not part of the insurance settlement. And so I think it would have been a better approach for you to give us the insurance settlement, which everybody's entitled to, and then say to each individual owner, if you want upper cabinets, if you want this, if you want that, it's going to be this much more.
Sure.
We need two contracts, one with the association for the insurance coverage and one for the individuals for the upgrades.
or unless he does it for the price that covers both.
Yes, and that's been our
And
intention.
that's called
all along.
risk.
Like I said,
Yeah, only kidding.
we didn't have the benefit
Definitely
of.
can't do that, and that's where this being recorded, that comment, even a joke, could really cause a lot of problems for your association.
Andrew, we have a legal obligation to record this meeting, period. I'm sorry about that, but it's the Florida law.
Yeah, but let's
Sure.
be mindful of what we're saying because
Yeah, I mean, the insurance company, they will get a copy of it, and that will look very bad on the association. It's just a joke, but this is a serious conversation, and they will be getting a copy of it in time. And so they could really create a lot of issues because.
there any other questions on the board for Eric or
Yes,
Jim?
I have one.
Yeah.
As far as the other contractors locally that they're using, what will be the communication level with our public adjuster? Is that going to delay our getting payments? Where I think NDS has more of an advantage in their knowledge of working with the public adjuster rather than having to make a delay between learning what these other local contractors are going to have to do as far as paperwork and communication. Eric, do you think you have that better link for us because of your experience? Because we're at a loss. A lot of us don't know exactly what we need to do. We need that guidance. And I think
Yeah.
Eric and NDS is where we're going to get that guidance to help expedite getting to the end.
Yeah, so again, in discussions with Joyce, I've tried to explain how that language between a contractor like us and the insurance companies work because we've been doing it for so long versus a contractor that doesn't speak with the insurance companies every day. It's akin to learning Japanese. You can't just pick it up in a day. And as a contractor, and I'm sure they do fine work. If they don't work with insurance companies and FEMA and people like that every day, they're learning Japanese on the fly, right? So because we've been doing it for so long, we know their language, we know the triggers, we know how to maximize the legitimately maximize the value of the claim, and make sure you all get what you need throughout the process. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Eric, do you get the approval for the value of the claim up front before you do the job? Or is there some laying out there where we don't know if it's going to be approved or not? And
So
that's called a risk on somebody's part, probably the association.
yeah, look, there are many of you that have already taken that risk and have rebuilt your villas, right, without knowing exactly what is going to be paid out. So we'll do that in your timeline, for either individual villas or the windows and doors for the entire property. Um, I hope that makes sense. We're waiting for that information from FEMA and from the insurance, but our price list that you've seen is an accepted price list nationally in North America. It's called Exactimate, which you may have heard that term.
Oh, yeah.
That is the accepted pricing model that we use every day, that everybody in our industry nationwide has to use. It's the only one, whether you're in Florida or whether you're in Colorado or whether you're in Los Angeles. The pricing is set by Exactimate and effectively formed by accepted by insurance companies and FEMA and everyone else around the country. So that is the model. That's the accepted pricing. I should say this too. And if you are searching for the lowest price contractor, which is in a normal remodel situation, all of us do that, right? We're looking for the lowest price, but also the best service. If you're looking for that and you provide that to the insurance company, that's what they're going to pay. They're not going to pay the higher price, right? So if I'm you all, I'm wanting the insurance company to pay the highest price for legitimately highest price for the product that I'm receiving, right? Does that make sense? They're not going to, if you say, hey, windows are $1 and I tell you they're $3, but you provide a contractor price that says it's $1, they're not going to pay you the $3 for those windows. They're going to pay you $1, right? Because you've provided them with what is a market price for those, and you're going to get the product and service that is the lower price. I'm not sure if I verbalized that correctly, but we want to drive the higher pricing, the legitimately higher pricing, as long as it's legitimate. That's what we want to find is that price, not the lowest.
Yeah, Eric,
How does that help us?
Well, if you have contractors that are just cutting price, they're going to be cutting corners somewhere, right? In whether it's something that you can't see, I've mentioned that earlier, whether it's installation process or flashing on a window or caulking or communication or service, that's the lower you go, eventually you're going to have to cut somewhere, right?
And
yeah,
the next question is, if by chance you follow Exactimate and they say like, kind and quality, whatever the difference is, and they say something was $3,000 and we're only going to give you 1,000, who's going to make up that extra?
That would have to be you. So we want to avoid that as much as we can, right? So we don't want to hunt for the lowest price right now, ideally. We want to hunt for, again, we don't want to cause insurance fraud and charge $6,000 for a window that should be three, but we don't want to charge 1,000, right? We want to get 3,000. So it's counterintuitive to what we normally do as a human when we're looking for a contractor to remodel our kitchen, let's say, right? we're not typically going to pay the highest price. We're going to start searching for lower pricing. In this case, we want, again, to get legitimately the highest price we can get, so that you get everything that you need in terms of, again, service and quality and materials and installation and all that, and communication. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, Eric, I have just a little bit of input. If we're looking at, whether it's NDS doing 5 or 6 units or doing 15 units, the other 80 some units have already been pretty well done. They've been looked at by the insurance company. They're already giving us what they gave us with the first round, with some supplements possibly coming in. So if we all of a sudden show up now with these prices that are about 30 to 40% higher, they're just going to give us that kind of a number. And just let me just continue. I just think with the villas that with the individual units that we're pretty well far along. I don't know what we can do, but I think with the windows and doors, we don't have pricing. You can come in and you can really do what you want and shine. And I think that would be a much more comfortable position. I think that we're trying to get the villas done for what was in the loss report. I think we're going to be giving up a little bit of ground because of Amero's, I think, charged some of the stuff that he's done in the beginning. So I don't really see the individual villas unless people want to opt out and they want to do something with you. But the windows and doors, definitely, because a higher price would actually be something probably easier to run through, FEMA. And the other thing, as far as your company having a greater understanding, which I'm sure that you guys do, is a very professional company, but we already have 80 some that are already being done by other people or that were done by Amero. So we already have we have what we have. So, I mean, that's not going to change.
That'll be a baseline pricing.
Can I echo what Chip's question for Eric? We probably have a half dozen contractors here already. None of them have been approved by the board, except to the fact that anybody who has a contractor is supposed to have a signed contract with that contractor. They're not going away. And in fact, it's possible that the board will approve some of them to work on the remaining units just the way we would approve you to do that. Are you comfortable in that environment?
Yes, if I understand the question, for sure. If we do 1 unit or 20, we're comfortable in that environment. And working around other contractors and subcontractors, we do it every day. So, and have been for forever. This is not an unusual situation for us. It's a very common everyday type of meeting and type of job for us.
Yeah, just hope that you would recognize the reality that I'm looking out my window and I see a half dozen contractors drive by every day.
Yeah.
So we do have quite a few contractors in here, and we haven't put any of them in front of us like this, because we've either been able to speak to them locally, and then really because your prices were a bit out of line, not out of line, but a little bit different. But you are explaining why there are some differences and that it includes some things that likely were not in that initial scope. I like the idea that you work closely with the PA group and have experience doing that. And I think that would be helpful to have here in the community at whatever level we choose to, bring you in as. And I understand that, Jordan's going to be required to work with all of the contractors anyways, but I do think it's a good idea to have at least one contractor in here that's used to, looking at the project as an insurance claim versus just a contract between, a villa owner and or the association and the contractor.
So
no matter who we choose, it's going to be contingent on, their contract being, approved by our legal team as well.
Yeah.
I have a question also.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I have a question. When I'd say the regional or the local contractors submit their payments and we don't have the money from insurance and we can't pay them all, and if they put a lien on us, that's going to cause us a problem. If if NDS, if we come down to not being able to pay some of the final bills, will they be able to carry them for a few months until we do get the insurance payments back in?
I'm glad you asked. I'd like to walk you through a very typical process. Let's say we provide you with a contract to do all the remaining exterior windows and doors for the property. You sign today, and that's what the contract says. There's no sum, no total there yet. It doesn't say $1,000 or $1,000,000 or whatever. It's just that's blank. Sign that contract. This is a normal process. Tomorrow or somewhere down the line, we find out because we've provided the PA firm with our pricing model. They say that the windows and doors are that you're getting $1,000,000 for all of them. That is the contract that we put together. We say, all right, we can do all these windows and doors for $1,000,000, and the net sum is zero. So there's no more money out of your pocket than all the windows and doors that we've agreed to. There could be a scenario you say, wait a second, you all decide you want to upgrade the windows to $1,001,001. And our contract states that the HOA board is going to pay that extra money. We'll wait until those monies are determined, if you like, what that money is, coming from the insurance company. We'll wait for that until we start. So you're going to know ahead of time whether your net is zero or higher or lower than what the insurance company and FEMA are paying you. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
But again, because we are providing that model that is an accepted model, we'll do what we can along with the PA firm to get you as much as possible for those windows and doors.
So if we assign everything that needs to be done in all the villas to you as one contractor rather than using the local contractors, are you willing to again be patient until we get all the monies due us? We can
course.
pay you a little bit at a time, as it comes in, and be patient, whereas a smaller contractor is going to have to probably need that money right away. And I can't see us being sued or having liens against more of the villas than what has happened to us in the past.
Yeah, so our everyday model is to wait for the insurance. We don't we wait for the insurance companies to pay you to pay us before we do anything. We're not asking you for monies that you don't have. We're waiting for those monies to flow. So we are comfortable financing the job until those monies come in.
Thank you.
There's another question that let's see here. Yeah, there's another question that comes up about you guys, Eric, and that's the issue of what sort of access to local labor, both skilled and unskilled, do you have?
Yeah, 100%. We use local labor. Maybe Jim or Matt could speak to that, but all of our labor virtually come from your neck of the woods, and be local.
But I mean, you already have relationships,
Oh yeah.
providers and craftsmen or whatever you want to call it, so that you don't have to hunt those people down. You have them already in your Rolodex, if I may.
There's hundreds of laborers in our Rolodex in South Florida. Um, Hundreds and hundreds, maybe thousands even that are in our Rolodex already that we've worked with that do this every day, hammering nails and doing demolition and installing windows and everything you can imagine, providing cabinets, all that stuff. Electricians, HVAC, plumbers, all of it.
I have a couple of points that I'd like to make. And first and foremost is that our responsibility as an association is to find a contractor to represent all of the community. So essentially, it's a replacement for Amuro. So that's our job. So we're looking at different contractors. And the point too is that the Progressive has not approved any pricing for any of the contractors that are already in here to date. So we have a lot of contractors in here. Right now, they've been their opt-outs, and so they've been getting paid by the villa owner, but essentially nothing has been submitted to the insurance company for any of these other contractors or you, Eric, for that point. So that's sort of where we're at as far as insurance.
What do you mean? We've already, the people that are working as subcontract that we've already received from the insurance company. We haven't, they haven't.
If, right, for anything that's above and beyond what they're, if they have to submit anything else, so if we are redoing if we're redoing the scopes, the pricing for any additional work would be based on the pricing of the opt-out contractor.
Be based on the opt-out, be based on whatever Amero did. Correct. But what I want to just want to answer Jackie's question. The money that we have, or the money that's being paid to the subcontractors, is being done with money that we've already collected, that we have in the bank, that we're earmarking out of that three, whatever it is. We're earmarking that money for those for the general contractors to do that work. We're not waiting on any kind of money from the insurance company. And I think maybe this is for Eric. On the 6 units that you priced out, can you give us a price for what it would be without the extra stuff in it?
Yeah, we would need the original estimate that the other contractors are working off of, which we don't have.
Okay.
And yes, then we can create basically an apples to apples estimate.
Yeah, I can get that to you, and I'm sure other people can too. But I can have that emailed over to you.
So that would be the original scopes, Eric, as well as any supplements that have come in to date.
Sure, we'd love to separate those out.
I have a question. Eric, if we contract with you, it's going to have to be for what the scope money is per villa. And if you start, let's say, putting a floor down and the like quality cost is $1,000 in the scope, but when you go to buy the materials and put it down, you end up with $2,000. Now, my understanding is that's where Andrew comes in to go back to the insurance company and fight for that additional money, correct?
Yeah.
Yes, that's a very
So how
common.
is that going to work? Are you going to stop until Andrew gets the money, or are you going to continue to put the floor down in hopes that he will get money for us?
We're going to leave that up to you. So that's your decision, not ours as a contractor. Okay, so that's a very common process in what we do. If for some reason it costs more, legitimately costs more, and we can't, the market prices go up, which we've all seen happen for materials and labor. Legitimately, you should be able to go, Andrew should be able to go to the insurance company and say, look, it just costs more today, and therefore you have to pay more. We're going to leave it up to you. You could say, Eric, you know what, go and install it, and we're comfortable that we'll either pay the difference or that the insurance company will provide it, or stop because we don't want to go on until we know who's going to pay for that, right? So we'll leave it up to you.
Andrew, I see you're still on. Would you be able to comment on that? It's not really related to, it's really mostly related to how the supplement process works.
The insurance owes you the money for what it would have cost to do the work at the time of the loss, and not a penny more. So if the loss was September 24, the insurance would owe you the market pricing to do the work right at that time. So if you wait to have the contractor do the work and the prices change, that's a risk on the association. If you move forward with the work from the contractor and you don't get enough money from the contractor, that's a risk on the association as well. There's a risk no matter which direction you would be going.
I had a question, Andrew.
I don't know. Go ahead and we'll see if we can answer it.
Can do it. As far as having some expertise, maybe help the other contractors, isn't that what the PA is going to be really doing, helping collecting this information to whomever that we have doing the work?
Yeah, we'll work with the various contractors to assist or attempt to assist with getting their documentation into a flood compliant format with Is that what your question was?
Yes,
Yeah, perfect.
Any other questions from the board? Andrew, is there anything you want to add as far as, working with NDS or anything like that that you're allowed to say?
There's not really anything to add.
Okay.
Can I ask a quick question? This is Raphael from AMI. I'm jumping ahead, not being introduced yet, but
That's coming up,
so
Raphael.
regarding flood insurance, a lot of the damages that are happening inside the units, what part of those damages are taken care of by the homeowner's personal homeowner insurance? And how do you separate that with what the association is responsible for?
Yeah, so a unit owner's flood insurance would cover, if they bought their own flood insurance, it would cover their personal property. And so a general way to look at it would be if you picked up the building, flipped it upside down, what falls out, such as furniture, bedding, clothing, stuff like that would be considered contents, and that would be covered if a unit owner bought their own flood insurance. So it would be considered under that. Things that are built in, plus kitchen appliances, those are things that would be considered by the flood insurance of the association.
I would imagine also, because according to condo statutes, sheetrock is the association's responsibility, but the finishes on the walls is the homeowner's responsibility, whether it be wallpaper or paint, texture. That would be the homeowner's responsibility. That was always been my understanding.
Yeah, that doesn't apply to flood insurance at all. So the statutes, that's Florida statutes for condos, which doesn't affect flood insurance. Flood insurance is a federal government program bound by federal law and not state law. And so the association flood insurance generally covers the finishes within the unit, both white box and the unit finishes and the unit owner responsibility items. So the associations considers it all. Not everything's covered, but the unit finishes, they would fall under the associations. If a unit maxes out, because the federal flood insurance could only sell up to 250,000 of flood insurance per building. If a unit owner bought their own building flood insurance, their building flood insurance could only ever kick in once the association's flood insurance would be maxed out if it ever was.
All right. Thank you, Andrew.
And that was reflected in the initial scopes too, where they did cover
Correct.
Understood.
things that you're talking about. Any other questions for Eric? I know he's got to get off. He's got another appointment, so that's why I kind of juggled the schedule around a little bit. Any questions for him?
This is Cliff Musin. I have a question for Eric.
Go ahead, Cliff.
Have you ever did estimate takeoffs?
Not sure I understand the question. My apologies.
Cliff, did you say
Estimate takeoffs are when you come into the villa and measure everything and take pictures and all that kind of thing. Is that not the responsibility of an adjuster?
Of the adjuster? I mean,
Recording in progress.
Cliff, I think you maybe mean this question to go to Andrew or Jordan as the adjuster, as the public adjusters versus Eric, who's the contractor.
Yeah, okay, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's all right. Andrew's on.
Andrew.
Yes, so I have been to the property already and looked at the villas. Of course, you're well underway. Everything's been ripped out that was there at the beginning of the flood, or right at the time of the flood. So I have personally been there. My team's been there. But really what's important now are the photos of how it looked at the time of the flood, or even before the flood, before everything was ripped out. And so we did get the photos from the insurance company. We have sent out requests to the unit owners for any photos that you may have. And as for measurements, the flood insurance, they basically in the end, they say it's their measurements for the highway that essentially we need to go off their measurements. If they missed a room, if they missed a closet, anything like that, that's where our measurements would come into play. But other than that, the flood insurance, they're not going to change their room measurements because theirs are off by a few inches for rounding or whatever. They're going to stick with their measurements.
Thank you, Andrew. Anybody else? Karen, can you see any questions? I'm not able to get into the chat.
Yeah, Christine has a question. Go ahead, Christine.
Thank you. I wasn't sure if you were doing member questions yet. Just from my understanding, because I did receive an email from the public adjuster, are we just throwing out the fountain group scopes and not working off of those anymore? Or are we just working to see what holes are in the already done initial scopes, which would make the most sense?
So
redoing them, I think, is going to be pretty messy, assuming that we've already been paid on those initial scopes.
So we'll update the scopes to reflect reality, but then I'll also your contractor documentation that will come into play for anything regarding pricing.
Okay, and then is it possible to get just to get 15 minutes of time with the public adjuster? Because like in my scope, there's very little that's been missing. So I'm just wondering, the email I received to handle that stuff was, I don't know how an average layman can even decipher what's being asked when really mine is very straightforward and simple. So I'm just wondering, are we going to take 30 minutes with each owner just to bang this out and get it done, or are we doing this different process?
So typically, if there's questions like that, you could either email your questions or we could set up a Zoom call with the unit owners.
Okay, because I did email and request all that. I've heard nothing back.
Yeah, I mean, it's been, they've been sent out within the last few days. So it could often take several days to review all the emails. We get a lot of questions and emails all at once when they go out. So it could take a little while to respond to everyone.
Okay, so just so I'm clear, we are still working off of the fountain scopes, which would have been written at the time of claim, which would make those pricings the most accurate, and then any supplement would come in addition after seeing what actual costs were.
Plus omitted items, yes.
Okay, thank you. And I have other questions, but I'll wait till the end.
Okay, thank you.
Nancy has her hand up. Go ahead, Nancy, unmute yourself.
I have not received any request from anyone or anything or any place to send it. The only thing I've received is something to get into and sign up for the management company. So I'm not sure what requests. I have photos that I can send, and I did actually send photos to one contractor, I think Rubber Tree, who's going to do ours, but from the association for going into and getting added monies or, an added supplement, I have never received any kind of request from anybody.
We'll make sure you get the information sent over to the public adjuster, Nancy, as far as your contact information to make sure it's accurate.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Joyce,
I
I'm
think we're
seeing
gonna-
comments that several people are saying they never got it.
If you haven't gotten any information from Altieri, make sure you have your contact information correct and send it over to the EBCA email to Karen, and we'll make sure that Altieri has your correct information.
Yeah, please send me an email at the manager at ebcafl.com, and we'll forward those on to Andrew.
Thank you.
Perfect. Yeah, we'll get those right out once we get the updated info.
And
Okay.
it could be, you might want to check because they were sent out, I don't know if they were sent out in bulk. You might want to check your spam file, your junk file, and see if it maybe got in there by accident.
Eric, do you have any other comments? And I'm not sure if Jordan or Andrew have anything further, because I'm going to let Eric go because I know he's got another appointment.
No other comments, really. Just thank you to EBCA for the opportunity. Happy to answer any questions, obviously down the road that you may have, so we can join in another call at any time or answer individual questions. So thanks again to everybody, and sorry I've got to go, but I got a hard stop.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for attending. Andrew, do you have anything further that you can add at this point? We're certainly going to need, further communications with you as we move forward. But as far as today's conversation, do you have anything?
Nothing further today, no.
Okay. And Jordan, I'm not sure you're on now. I know you were on. Anything else to add?
Nothing further for me. Andrew covered it.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I'd like to move on. I'm going to kind of revert back to the beginning of the meeting. We adjusted things a little bit. So first and foremost, I want to welcome our new Cam. This is his first time attending our meeting. And some of you have not met Rafael Susara, who works for AMI. He's here in attendance. So thank you, Raf, for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
We're happy to have you on board and for your assistance and expertise. I also want to welcome our new person that's working in the office. Her name is Lisa Rupert. She's in the office right now with Karen. She will be working several hours during the week. Her schedule is up in the air at this point, but she's going to work with Karen, and perhaps especially in the beginning few weeks, she'll be spending some time in the office. So feel free to stop in and say hello and introduce yourself. So welcome, Lisa. We're happy to have you on board.
Thank you. Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Okay, moving on. As far as we still have not voted on bringing in these contractors. So we've been talking about contractors for weeks now. It's our responsibility as an association to pick and approve contractors. We have several that we have spoken to either personally here or now on Zoom with NDS. So does anybody on the board want to make a motion to move forward with these contractors? Bob, you're muted. And just to preface that any contractor that we approve, it will be contingent on them having a contract that is approved through our attorney. NDS has their own contract. It's with our attorneys right now for redlining and for comments. And so ultimately NDS would need to be okay with those changes. The other contractors, we're waiting from our attorney to get a common contract that these more local contractors can look at and see if they agree with. So anything that anybody makes a motion about will be contingent upon our legal counsel.
Well, I'm prepared to make that motion or a motion with the provision that it is contingent on everything that you just said, Joyce.
Okay.
So in other words, the purpose of this motion in my mind is twofold. One, to continue to whatever degree we need board discussion about this topic, which we just had, but we can continue certainly before the motion. And secondly, to get some people in the pipeline. It's in a way, it's I'll use the term preliminary approval because, I think it would give the confidence to the contractors who are here that they can stay here, and to the contract and to NTS that they can begin whatever preliminary work they need to do. So I'll make a motion. There are that we give this preliminary approval to 5 different contractors. I think we are at NDS, Rubber Tree, Integrity, Kane, which is Bruno, and Lemon Bay Construction. I so move.
I'll second. Discussion? Mike, did you have a question?
Until we get some numbers from NDS on separating out what they're doing for insurance and what they're doing as an upgrade or whatever the extra getting it up to Cadillac speed. I don't know if we can compare apples and apples here because the numbers that they gave were $40,000 to $50,000 higher. And if that ends up coming back on the community, that's a lot of money added up again. We're back in the way we were on the first 20 or 25 units.
And
they were all $20,000 to $50,000 over.
So could we make it condition upon rewriting the estimates to not include any upgrades?
But what happens if the price comes back high, even if they take out the upper kitchen cabinets and stuff like that? See, the problem is, and NDS is going to cost us more money. That's why I don't have a problem with them doing the windows, because I think we have a better chance of getting supplements. But they're way up there, and I think the expertise that we're looking for is really the responsibility, and it seems like Andrew has it, is going to really be the PA. It's really not the subcontract. It's not the general contractor. So, and they have to work with, the PA has to work with so many other villas that are not going to be done by, or even what NDS is even looking to possibly do. So to me, the pricing is very, very concerning. And I don't think we're looking to price to go cheap. We're looking to get price to be within any kind of normal latitude here, because we are definitely behind. We are in the hole with a Amaro, so we don't have money to be just wanting to feel, to give somebody to make sure that we just feel better. I think the PA can do a lot of that because they really have to. We have 80 some units that are not going to be done by Eric. So I think price is key.
I'm sorry. I made the motion, so I don't want to sound like I'm contradicting myself. I made the motion largely to facilitate this discussion because I think we all agree we need to get a contractor or more in here. I was surprised, frankly, that NDS included the upgrades in their estimates. That did not make any sense to me.
I think they included, and I don't disagree, I think they included things that typically they feel that people would probably want to do. But that's not.
But you know what, Joyce, not to contradict you, I'm a living example of a person who didn't want to do that. So they're, I think they jumped to a conclusion that they ought not to have.
Yeah.
If we want to approve contractors today with the numbers that were given to Chip, the local contractors, if there were two numbers, they were within a few $1,000s of each other, and NDS was, like I said, $20,000 to $45,000 higher. If we want to do NDS and let them do all the windows and doors, exterior stuff, I'm okay with that too. But local contractors, we need to get these homes going. And we know where the local contractors stand. They'll accept our contract that we offer them. And that way we can get things moving. If not, we're going to be here in another 2 weeks talking about NDS again.
So how about we approve the other contractors? We approve NDS to do the windows and doors, and also contingent upon them rewriting the scopes to not include upgrades.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think we got to get moving.
Go ahead, Greg. I'm willing to amend my motion along the lines of what Joyce just described.
Okay, how are we going to write this?
Yeah, I still think we have to have the price from MDS. We have to see that before we can just say that they're going to redo the price and that they're going to be able to go with that. We have to be able to approve the price as a separate issue, if you know what I'm saying.
Well, I agree, Chip. I thought that was a approval.
Okay.
Yeah, the approval would be for them to do the windows and doors.
Yeah.
And anything on the construction side, interior would be contingent.
But we're just now trying to accept contractors. It doesn't matter. I mean, whatever this other information that's going to come in can be voted on then, but this is just to do the 5 contractors. Am I correct?
This is to approve the contractors working here in the community.
Right. It's not about the final dollar yet, correct?
We're talking about a lot of contingencies. So as far as, the actual work and the scope of what they're going to do is still up in the air,
Right, right. So now we're just trying to approve them as contractors that we can look at down the road. Is that not what we're doing, or?
Hopefully not too far down the road, though, because we really
Right.
get going on these.
Right.
Well, how about go ahead, Jackie. I'm sorry.
I think in my mind, we just need to approve them so we can look at them and get the final results of what we're after. If we don't have a motion to approve them, then we can't move forward with the discussion and making decisions down the road. Am I wrong, or?
No, that sounds right. That sounds correct.
I think we approve them based on the contingency that they sign a contract with the association to do the work for the scope money. The contract is being prepared by Briney, and if they sign that, then we go forward.
That's what I was saying. The motion to accept the contractors with contract approval.
And we talked,
right?
Yes.
Which, with respect, I think is basically what the motion was in the first place. Maybe not stated as clearly as you just stated it.
You are right. That's what I took from what you said. And then we can move on from this motion to after we get the contracts approval, because we may not accept the contract that they're giving us. But now we're going to put in motion that we're going to look at those contracts.
Yeah, and I think we, given Joyce, given the fact that you have a relationship with Eric, we can approve NDS today, but simply, as Jackie said, within the, only contingent upon a signed contract. And we could say to Eric, we're not going to sign a contract with you unless unless your estimate is within the original scopes. And then if people want it, just as it is now, if I wanted better cabinets than the ones I kept my cabinets, if I wanted better cabinets, I had to pay for them.
Right.
Yeah, we have to make sure we ask all these contractors for two prices.
Well,
the
then
price for the
anything,
price for the
anything
price
above
for the
like
loss.
time. Anything
price for
above
lake
like
and
time and quality is the
and then
reason.
a price for everything else
That would be a separate contract with
the homeowner.
Right.
That's
but
good.
their contract is going to be with the association, just like
Yes.
was.
Okay. Are there any contractors working in the villas that are not the 5 that we just discussed? Are we going to allow them to continue work as well? If that's a private contract with the villa owner?
I don't think there's anybody else, Greg, that other than the 5 that we just mentioned, they're all doing work in here as opt-outs already, with the exception of my next agenda item is to approve the last opt-out that got their paperwork in under the timeline that we gave them. So it's all of them are already in here with the exception of NDS and Integrity. They're already in here doing work.
Okay, Zane had a question though.
My contractor is not on that list. Creative Design Construction. Why were they not included?
They were already approved, Zane, as an opt-out contractor.
Oh, okay.
We're talking about having a replacing Imural contract.
Okay.
Which is different.
Why was he not given a chance, though, to also be included?
No, but we asked for options. We went with Rubber Tree because Rubber Tree came to me and said he was interested in the job. NDS was recommended to us. Integrity, I think, came through Chip, and then Bruno was. I'm not sure how Bruno came to us, but it was through actually Greg. I think you had noted that they were in the community and possibly would want to use them. So that's sort of how it came about, and we ended up getting estimates from them.
Zane, does he want to be?
He would do some more. He would do a couple more.
So if I get his info, I can send him some jobs to basically call. Which would be fine because if NDS ends up just doing the windows, we might have some room for somebody else.
Okay.
And just keeping in mind that the more contractors we get in here too, it does complicate things in the sense that in speaking to these other contractors, they wanted some level of work. They didn't want to come in to do one or two. A couple of them did, but some of the others, wanted a fair amount of work to make it worth their while. So that's why we stopped the opt-out program or put it on pause for now, because we wanted to ensure that we were able to bring in somebody that would get a decent amount of work.
Well, if we do the windows and doors with NDS, that's a decent amount of work for them. Whether they get any homes.
So right now, we're going to approve the contractors. Is that what the motion is on the table?
Motion on the table is to accept the contractors with their contract approval.
Okay.
And it's Jackie, as you know, I'm sure you wrote it down. I can certainly send it to you, but there are 5 of them.
Yes, I have NDS, Rubber Tree, Integrity, Bruno, and I don't have the 5th one. What is the name?
Lemon Bay.
Lemon Bay?
Mm-hmm.
And what is the name of Bruno's company?
It's Cain, Cain.
Thank you.
So this Cliff Mewson again, how about just adding contractors to be paid not to exceed insurance scope?
That'll be in their that'll be in the contract that they'll have to sign. That'll be legal jargon that's going to be used by our legal team. So that will be in there, Cliff.
Okay, thank you.
So just to make part of conversation here. So we're looking for the new general contractor to work within the exact money that's left over in the loss reports.
Yes.
Because what I'm looking at is that we have percentage of completion that we receive from Amero, and I have everything from 12% up to 72% in some of these villas that he is either going to get paid for or got paid for at that. So I don't see how that's going to even be really possible.
Well, either way, we need to bring in some contractors and we need to get work going here. So I think all we're doing now is voting that these are contractors that can come in and do work. And there's a lot of contingency still that needs to be worked on. So their scope of work is still not cast in stone. So I think right now we're just voting on bringing in these contractors.
All right.
Yeah, we're going to with input from the contractor and with input from the PA, it's not going to be limited, Chip, hopefully, to the scope of loss as it stands now. It's going to be limited to the scope of loss after we successfully obtain the supplementals.
Right.
Yeah, because the percentage of completion that we got on these so-called 16 units, Amero is taking out at a level that's at that other, I don't want to say the number, but the 13.8. So it's somewhat larger than what's in the actual original scope.
Yeah, but we're going to be in court with Amero.
Yeah,
so let's stick with the voting to bring that's important stuff, but it's not relevant to bringing in these new contractors right now.
Okay. The motion is to accept the contractors with the board's contract approval. Go ahead, Joyce.
Say that again, Jackie.
The motion is to accept the contractors listed below with the board's contract approval.
Contingent on an agreed upon contract with our attorneys.
And didn't Bryony kind of warn us a little bit about the type of contract? And I'm not trying to rain on NDS. I think they would be great for doing the windows and stuff like that, because the higher price won't hurt us because we don't have any other pricing from anywhere else. I just think that they're going to be trying to get local labor, just like Amero did, and they're going to be a higher priced situation. And I know that we're just going to approve this doesn't mean they're going to do anything, but I just want to say that. So,
we ready to vote? All in favor? Okay. Looks like it's unanimous. Okay, I'm going to go back to our agenda. We do have 2 opt-outs. I think actually one of them was approved last meeting, but I don't have that in front of me. And the opt-out is for Villa 47, that's Duffy. And I do think that that was approved last meeting. And the final one, we talked last week, we had a stop dead time. It was for Friday, end of business. And Hank Holst, who is Betty Dunbar's son, got his information in on time last Friday, so I would like to put that out there too, to approve the opt-out for villas 47 and 95. All their paperwork is in order.
The 95 is going to opt out, right?
These are for opt-outs.
If you know what I'm saying,
Yeah.
that's going to come off my list then. So it makes it now down from 16 down to 15, which is better. Thank you.
We need a motion, right, Joyce?
Please.
Make a motion to approve.
Motion, we approve it.
Go ahead.
Okay, it's Greg making the motion.
Yes.
Do I have a second?
Second.
I'll approve.
Who seconded? I'm sorry, who seconded?
I'll second.
I think
Donna?
Chip did.
Okay, Donna?
Let Donna second it. Give her.
Very generous. Very generous of you, Chip.
Okay. Unanimous.
Joyce, a point of clarification, if I may.
Yep.
Having approved these 2, is the moratorium on further opt-outs now fully in effect?
Yes.
So no more opt-outs until we lift that restriction.
That's right.
Correct.
Okay.
Thank you. Jackie, we have, I think, some meeting minutes to approve. Can you let us know which those are so we can approve them?
Yeah, just a second. I thought everybody knew them, so hang on.
Joyce, you know who the general contractor is for? I know for 47, it's Bruno. Who is it for 95?
Lemon Bay Construction.
Lemon Bay. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay. I need approval for February 20th, February 27th, March 3rd, and March 13th.
Now move we approve all those minutes as listed by the secretary.
I second it.
All in favor?
Uh.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to move on to the wall update. So,
Before we leave the construction, I've been talking to some people and we're wondering how we're going to proceed with money. We have so much money, X amount of dollars in the bank that we need to get out to people. Once we have these contractors chosen for these last 15 or 16 homes, whatever the number is, we'll know what that number is. We can set that money aside and then start getting more money out to opt-outs.
That's the
because
goal.
we have to assign dollars to each home. You know, we talk about this pool of money. We can't look at it as a pool. I know it's in the account, it's in one account, but it has to be assigned to homes. And so once we assign money to these homes, we know what's already been taken out by Muro for other homes. Then we can see what the balance is and we can start getting money out to people and set money aside for each home.
Yeah.
I'd like to see it proceed that way.
That sounds good. And I think that should be our main topic for our next meeting, Mike, because it's complicated, as you know. In speaking to Bryony, you know, she feels we sort of have to know what our end number is too before we can start, you know, doling out funds. And we certainly need to put aside for those that need to be rebuilt as well as the opt-outs. So that should be one of our topics for our next meeting, where we have spoken about possibly having to hire somebody to do this. I've had a couple conversations with Greg about this too, that, we may need to have some assistance with it.
Yeah. How about the idea of starting to think about some kind of a special like assessment for the community? Because we know that we're short. We have to do what Ms. Swift says. We have to return all these units to the way they were. We know that we're behind, so I don't know. We need to give people a little bit of warning.
Yeah, we'll add that to, that'll be on our next meeting, and it goes under what Mike just said. It's all about how we're going to start releasing some funds and.
The question, yeah, who approves the estoppel letters that go out when somebody sells their villa? And the reason why I'm asking is that there was somebody who purchased the villa. I won't say which one it was, and they seemed like that they were surprised by what's going on. And now they're probably going to be one of the largest activists involved in trying to pursue making sure that they get their money. So when I was doing this, which wasn't that long ago, the estoppel letter would make sure that everything or any idea of anything would be included in that, so the purchaser wouldn't be surprised, and then we wouldn't be stuck with a very annoyed owner. So I think the estoppel letters need to be really paid attention to. It just can't be I'm not saying that it was or wasn't, but I'm just saying somehow this gentleman was taken by surprise.
Yep. Aren't sellers required to provide a disclosure letter to the prospective buyer? And wouldn't that be included in there?
That's required by the managing agent to make sure that there isn't any outstanding maintenance, there isn't any outstanding violations that they may have with the condominium, just so the people that are doing the guaranteeing of a clean title, they're able to hand that over to the new purchaser. So
I have never signed an estoppel letter. I can open it up to Karen or, Raf, if either of you know the answer to that, feel free to answer, and then we're going to get back onto our agenda.
Okay, very familiar with estoppel letters, in fact, and when there's a purchase made, our office will put out that estoppel. We have 10 days to release it upon request. We do check if there's any violations, any dues owed, monies owed to the association, that sort of thing. And the verbiage on it could be anything that the board feels should be required or necessary. So I'll get with the board on that proper verbiage, and we'll make sure it's on the estoppels when those are made, when those are ordered and requested.
Well, some of the units have been sold already, and the purchasers, I'm just looking at a message here from Christine saying the listing said that insurance money will cover remodeling. Now,
Yeah.
who has that responsibility? Is it the owner? Is it the person doing the listing agent?
it's a corporation,
We didn't sell the home.
but we approved the sale.
Via the estoppel, right?
So that's why the estoppel is so important. And
Right.
I'm not saying anything's wrong. I'm just saying that we need to avoid making additional issues with people, because if we know that we're behind, we know that there's a huge possibility of us having a rather large assessment, just to not be bringing it up and then having people moving in here because it wasn't put in the minutes. So I'm actually putting it in the minutes, please, that we need to discuss in the, maybe at the next meeting, a possibility of doing something like that, because having people moving in and then all of a sudden be hit with stuff is not really, and they have a clean, like a estoppel letter, that can cause issues for us down the road also.
Okay,
And
we're
just
going to add that to our list next. We have a meeting in 2 weeks when, prior to that, when we put out a request for topics, make sure that that's on there.
Thank
Donna?
you.
I'm going to move on to the wall update right now. So as you all know, we've been talking for months and months and months about the wall, and it sort of got put on the back burner. We're bringing it back to the front, and we've gotten 2 estimates to date. One of them was from Roger. Karen worked really hard with Roger to get an estimate. He gave us one that was pretty detailed. We also got one from Rubber Tree. It wasn't actually from Rubber Tree, but it was from a company that does the masonry work for Rubber Tree. So we have two contracts in front of us for concrete walls. A couple of members of the community asked to view those estimates. It was Cliff and Merle, and Greg has also been involved. So I think they may possibly want to include somebody else from the community, but there'd been several discussions so far between Merle and Cliff and Greg with both of these people that have put in their requests. So I'm going to hand it over to you, Greg, because I know that you have had some communication with Merle and Cliff at this point.
Yeah, I've agreed to kind of be the project leader on this, and Karen was kind enough to speak with me yesterday and provide me with a lot of the information that was obtained, the quotes, and Roger West went ahead and even got an engineering drawing made. Right now, I believe we need a set of specifications that complies with codes, which I don't think we really understand yet. And once we have those specs on what we're going to do and how we're going to rebuild the wall, then I think we need to go back out and have the contractors all quote on the same thing. Because what I see in the quotes so far is they're not quoting on the same work. Their numbers are so far different. The construction techniques are different. Some of them don't understand the footers that are required. The complexity of doing a wall where there is electrical, plumbing, trees, other things that have to be considered in the scope of work. I think we've got a pretty good start, but I think we have to pull the reins back right now and understand what the requirements are going to be, and then go out and get quotes, and then we can move forward. And I would feel much more confident about the outcome if we do it in the right manner. So in the days and weeks to come, I'm going to form a committee, and Joyce has already mentioned that Cliff and Merle, and I would like to invite another individual, and we can work collectively on moving this project forward.
That's
good. Lives on the wall might be a good idea.
Pardon me?
So might want to pick somebody who lives on the wall between 16 and 1.
We have somebody that is on the wall, Chip. So thank you for that.
Okay.
So I think we should have a little bit of progress by our next board meeting, and I can report out at that time.
That would be good. Thank you.
Thank you.
A couple more items on the agenda, and then we're going to open it up for some questions. A lot of people have been asking about the parking in here, that there's we don't know who's parking in here. The gate is open all day long, which I understand it needs to be. We have so many contractors in and out. So that door, it does make sense that it's open, but people are questioning how many people really belong in here, and their questions were, when can we have them towed, and do we have a towing company? So I checked into it. Yes, we do. We still work closely with Galatas. Their name is on the sign, so you can see that if you notice that somebody is parking there and going to the beach or something like that, you might want to verify first, but we do have a towing company. There was a big question about that. Currently,
can I add something? I had Kevin come and readjust the timer for the new timing on the gate, and I had him adjust it so that instead of opening at 6 in the morning, it opens at 7 because it's still dark, and for the contractors, and we close it now at 4 instead of 5 because we were told that people were parking for dinner. So hopefully that will solve a little bit of that issue.
Thank you. Any questions on that? Currently, our community golf cart is out of commission. For anybody who's interested in that, it got picked up by Thoroughbred golf carts yesterday for repair. I'm not sure what's wrong with it, but hopefully we will get that back soon. We recently had the health department come in, and we were cited on a number of things with our pool. Those are being addressed now. Ref, I don't know if you have any update on that or not, or maybe part of your being here today is to look at that and to review what we need to do.
Yes, I'll definitely take a look at that today while I'm here.
Okay, thank you. Our front entryway, a lot of people have been complaining about our front entryway and that it doesn't look nice in here, and I agree, it doesn't. And especially with people that are trying to sell their properties, we do want to give a good impression when you come into the community that it looks nice and it would be a place that you would like to live. We got one estimate, thanks to Jeff Lilquist. He sent over an estimate for somebody to clean out that front area. In speaking to Karen, we do need to get a couple of more estimates, so we'll be working on that. And hopefully we'll be able to get that front entryway cleaned up a bit so that it looks a little more appealing. That's essentially what I had on the agenda. It's 11:30. Let's open it up. Oh, go ahead, Bob. Sorry.
I could give a very, very bare bones update on the irrigation system, which I know is another concern. The lawns look horrible. The fertilization company is here today. You may see them driving around in their vehicles, dropping little white particles on the grass. That somebody needs to mute themselves. That's fertilizer. So that's a step in the right direction. Please mute yourself, whoever you are. Somebody's having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
According to what I know, talking to Jeff Crandall and talking to Paul from West, somebody's got to mute themselves, okay?
Everyone's muted. You're just echoing for some reason.
I'm echoing?
Yes.
I guess it's because of what I have to say is worth hearing twice.
I'm sure it is.
Well, then I guess I'll just suspend because that makes no sense. I don't know why I'm echoing.
No, we can hear you okay, so continue on. It's okay.
Jeff Crandall, as you know, is the wizard of our irrigation system, and Paul from Left Coast Landscaping is also very knowledgeable. Basically, the problem is, first of all, it's a very old system. It's been damaged in some cases in different places by the contractors who don't really care much about where they dig or what they dig. And then the most systemic problem is that we need to figure out a way to make sure that everybody's irrigation timer is operational. Some of them are, some of them aren't. Some of them just need to be plugged in. Some of them need to be replaced. So I'm going to talk to Crandall and Paul about trying to get a handle on which ones are broken. So the system, my system works, but not everybody's does.
Thank you. So you'll let us know what he says when.
Yeah, I should be able to have some kind of handle on it by the next, in 2 weeks.
Okay. Thank you. Anybody else on the board before we open it up to the community? Yeah, Donna.
Question about the windows, and I may be missing something, but who's paying for the window replacement? I know in Moscow, the window amount was very low. So who's going to be paying for the windows? Is it the homeowner responsible for anything above the scope, or?
So Altieri is in the process of putting together, that information to get our scopes increased, because they came in very low on everybody's initial scope. So part of the supplements, and this is not, the windows and doors have not been included in the supplements thus far. So that is next step for Altieri.
Yeah.
So we'll see what that number comes back at, but as long as it's like, kind, and quality, it would be whatever the insurance pays for, and then the homeowner, if they want, would have to put in the rest of the money.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Just keep in mind that they did say if it's in your scope now and you choose not to replace them, the next time they won't be replaced. If there is hopefully not a next time.
Yeah. And I think that applies to everything, right, Mike? I think anything that was in the scope, if you choose to not do it, and we have another event, it will not be covered again.
But the nice thing about working with them with just windows and doors, the exterior, is we can get an approval on some upfront, and we know that the rest will be approved then. We would have a very good idea of what's happening.
Yeah, go ahead, Bob.
Muted.
You're muted still.
As usual. Given my heritage, I will go so far as to use today to invoke the luck of the Irish in terms of the future.
Okay. All right. As long as there's no other questions from the board, I'll open it up to the community for questions. And I'm going to preface that with there may be a lot of things that we don't have answers for yet, but we'll do our best.
If someone has a question, please raise your hand. I'm not going back through and looking through 60 chat things. But Babette Beninati's had her hand up for a while. So Babette, unmute yourself and ask your question.
All right. I think I'm unmuted.
Yes, we can hear you.
You are.
Prior to Altieri coming on, the previous board already asked us to fill out supplemental information, go line by line on our scopes, to which Al and I did. Sent a copy to Erica Davis. She said that she would forward it. So we've done some of that work. If you look at the email that was sent by this Andrew guy that was on, it's asking for pretty much the same similar information. If he's only doing supplemental work, and anything else that was already given to my villa prior was already established, can I just turn in what those line items are for the supplemental information that was asked for me in the past as part of it?
I would just send over, Babette, everything that you have, send it over to Andrew, and they can kind of weed through it and figure out what they need and what will be most helpful. But if you already have that information put together, I would forward it over. I know it's been a bit confusing. We've had, so much turnover with everything really, with management companies and with the board. And so whatever you've got, I would send it over to Andrew and let him.
I do like some people.
Tweak through that.
Babette, I think you probably already know this, but Altieri is going to start from scratch. They're going to redo the scopes completely as if the original scopes had never been done.
Well, I don't know if that's an advantage to those who already had their money set aside. I'm thrilled that Mike Bailey actually said, we got to get those numbers down and get these people paid because, a lot of the homeowners that finally got the opt-out and are moving forward, have been paying all out of pocket. So the faster, I know you guys all are in a tough position and you're trying to get the other houses started. I don't envy you. It's tough and it sucks. But it's also not fair that you're going to bring in somebody else and probably get yourself into another situation where you're overpaying a contractor as an Amuro. You're asking us to provide invoices for, they're asking us, excuse me, not you, but this company, Altieri, is like, please provide all your contractor invoices line by line, da-da-da. And I'm like, oh, you mean like Amuro? Major invoices that were heavily detailed and paid from the past? That kind of frustrates me because a lot of that money was given without clear invoices, and yet we are now at the work to be done for Altieri so that they can get more money, while the money that was already allotted per villa hasn't been distributed to each villa because of the overpayment of Amuro.
So we've hired Altieri to hopefully increase our scope of loss for each villa, and that's what we're doing now. So we're just asking that you send in any information you have, and this is the path we're taking right now. So I know it's frustrating.
Babette, you're right. In the first 20 homes, we did not have it per home. We did not have anything. There was a lot of incorrect going on, but now that's why the last ones we want to have two prices, one for the loss report so we know what we are paying and we know what the homeowner knows what they will have to pay. And if we did that on every home going from the start, we wouldn't be in this position, but we are. We're here now. We just have to try and limit how deep this hole goes.
And Babette, as you probably know, the board has voted to approve up to $20,000 for anybody who's opted out, as long as they can prove that they've spent that money. I know it's not enough, but it's what we've got.
I received that. I sent all the stuff in, and I'm trying to move forward with it like everybody else is. So I appreciate that. It's a start, but we're going to come to
Yeah,
we're going to we're going
it's
to
a start. That's all it is.
Yeah, well, we're going to feel like, okay, can I get the rest of my money back now? Because I'm in $65,000.
So Babette, we said that in 2 weeks from now, the reimbursement is going to be a topic for discussion, and hopefully we'll know more at that point, and we'll at least have a plan in place for how we're going to start dispersing those funds, but we don't have that answer today.
Okay. Well, the last thing I said was back to the fact that what he was asking, and that applies to me. You said I could do whatever I want to do, but if you look at it, there's a lot of people that may not have pictures, may not have the information that this gentleman wants. If they're working for us, the guy at the beginning, I don't remember his name, that kept coming on saying, I'm going to be there for you. I'm going to get all this information from Amuro. I'm going to be the Messiah. I'm going to come to your rescue and basically do all this stuff for supplements. And I haven't seen that guy. And now we're at where we're still having to provide a ton of information. Some people who didn't receive the email is going to get it, and they're going to go, oh, that's a lot to do.
It is a lot. Thank you, Babette. Any other hands? Do we see any other hands up?
Yeah,
Karen?
there's two more.
Yeah, Christine and then Derek.
Christine, go ahead.
Thank you. Sorry. Mine are just more general questions. I'm trying to get my condo insurance in place, and I was told to get a wind mitigation report from the. Do you know where I go to get that?
Yeah, you can get that from Erica. Erica, she's our insurance agent. She has copies.
From Erica. Okay, perfect. Thanks. And then is there like a maintenance schedule, like how often we paint the exteriors, that kind of stuff?
Yes, I don't know it off the top of my head, but yes, roof painting, all of that is on a schedule. Yes.
Okay, so currently then I don't have to worry about painting my exterior or anything like that. That's just done on some kind of schedule.
Yeah, I think it's every 10 years. That might not be the exact number, but anything that needs to be done because of a hurricane, that would not be on the schedule. So our typical schedule is, I think it's every 10 years.
I think Joyce or Mike or somebody correct me. I believe that all the units are either repainted or power washed after Ian.
Yes.
All right.
They were.
They were. Okay. So if it needs touch up or something, am I okay to do that, or do I have to get permission to do that?
You can do it. It's not included on the scope, so it would be
okay. That's fine.
On your dime at this point.
Okay.
We can get it added, to the claim.
Okay. And then at this point, I hadn't planned on doing my doors. So would I just wait for the new contractor to come through to do my doors? I just want to make sure I don't miss out on getting them done and then have them not included on the next hurricane.
Right. So I would wait. If I were you, I would wait if your doors are functional.
Okay.
And we'll see, what they actually get covered under the next supplement. So we'll see what that
Okay. So just kind of hang tight on that. Then I don't have to run and do that yet.
I wouldn't do it if I were you, if they're functional.
Okay. That
Christine,
sounds good. And then, yeah, go ahead.
I power wash my house every year when I come down. So that takes care of a lot of the dirt and dust and everything.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Yeah, we did power wash ours, but I think there's just a few little spots I could touch up. And then do we know how many supplements have been received and for which units yet?
We are just starting to collect those, and they were originally being managed by our previous management company, and now that will either be done through Donna as our treasurer or through someone who's in the office. I don't think we have it in a good order right now, but we will.
Okay, and then will we get notification like when ours comes in so we can see the supplement pertaining to our
Yeah.
own villa?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay, I think that's it for me, believe it or not. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. And someone I saw had put in a question about does insurance cover, I think it was for power washing, and they do not. So they do not cover power washing.
Because Derek has had his hand up for a while.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just following up on Babette's comments, I guess, on this payback. That I mean, these units that are done, that there's been money paid to the association for the initial scopes. Why isn't any of that money being dispersed besides that initial 20,000?
Yeah. So our attorney's response to that is this is an overwhelmingly complex claim, and until you know or have an estimate of what that end number is going to be, and until you have estimates on the remaining work that needs to be done in the community, it's very difficult to tweak out what monies should go where. So nobody's arguing.
Wouldn't the monies that were already paid on the initial scope? I mean, I don't understand why the end number, a new end number that's not there yet, why does that
Well,
affect the initial money?
we're responsible for the last 15 or 16 homes, and we have to know what that number is before we can establish the remaining portion.
But well, you're responsible for 99 homes, I would think, and the initial money that was already sent out on the original scope, why isn't that delegated to the money that's been spent? I don't understand that at all.
That's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get that number. We have what money has been sent out already. We have how much is in the bank,
Yep.
and we needed this last number on how much we had to keep in reserve to take care of the last 15 or 16 homes.
Yeah,
Once we
I
get that,
understand
we'll
what
know
you're
what's
saying,
left.
Mike. I totally understand that. But if you
Mhm.
have a scope that was initially done, you have a check for that scope for 99 homes in this sub. If the scope of the house that was done matches that scope, I don't understand again why that money isn't being released.
The problem is that
We
Emera
owe,
was overpaid and overcharged, and
Okay.
that put us in the hole. None of the numbers match up.
I think this is our, again, Derek, this is on the topic. This topic is going to be on our schedule for next week, and hopefully we will have more information at that time. But reimbursement was not on our agenda today, but in part because we don't have that answer.
Okay. Well, I mean, it seems like it just gets kicked down the road every 2 weeks. So, I mean, it should be one of the higher priorities, I think, before we talk about spending $200,000 on a wall or fixing sprinklers for grass that isn't there. I think this should be something that's a high priority in this board's eyes, and it doesn't seem like it is. I'm just being totally blunt with you. Coming into this, we were told that this money, we do our work, we're going to get paid. On the listing when I bought, yep, the insurance money's paying for these renovations. All this so far has been smoke and mirrors. And kicking the can down the road every 2 weeks is just crap. It's a crap way to do business. This board needs to get together on this and figure out what's going on with these supplements. This should be number one priority.
We have a lot of number one priorities, Derek, and we're doing the best we can. And I would encourage you to get on the board in January.
I'm on a board that runs twice as many people as this sub. And I'll
Okay.
tell you, if it was run like this, I would never be asked to come back.
Thank you for your comments. Anything else? Roger? You're muted, Roger.
Still muted.
Roger, bottom left-hand corner. Okay, you got it.
Got it?
There you go. There you
Okay.
go.
I think I was partially answered my question, but I'm number 10, and my if my villa was power washed, it is absolutely gross looking on the outside. I don't. My contractor has tried to power wash it again, and now he wants to paint. What what is my situation there? Is the association take care of that, or
None of the
what do I
exterior is
do?
in the scope at the present time. So anything you do on the exterior would be on your dime at this point. If it gets added to the scope at some point through Altieri, that'll be a different story. But if you do something now, that is on your dime.
I thought the exterior was the association.
This is a flood claim, so it's interior at this point. So we don't have anything in the scope. If you take a look at your scope, there's nothing for the exterior in your scope.
Yeah.
But perhaps it will be when they're redone.
Okay, well, I don't think the association wants my villa looking as is, so I can go ahead and paint.
You can go ahead and do whatever you need to do to make it look presentable. Yes, but on your dime.
Wow. All right, thank you.
All right, any other questions? Otherwise, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Jackie. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Donna. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you all.
Thank you all for your continued patience.